Welcome, folks, and welcome to an old concept I have not done in nearly 2 years, and that is welcome to the updated version of the Blood Bowl 3/2020 tier list. Now, if you remember a couple of years ago, I did a tier list of all the Blood Bowl teams that we had at the time and where they stood. Now that we've got a few reworks, with the vampires being the most recent, and we have the new team of Khorne, not the Khorne Demons, the normal Khorne, a lot of things have changed and the format has took a radical change. Now, for the rest of the other players, they have not got the reworks yet. But once they do, I'll probably do this again. But this will probably be a while because the way they are releasing these, it's taking a while. Now, how is this going to be formatted? Well, as you can see here, we have 5 tiers. We have the cream of the crop. Ooh yeah. Sorry, my bad Randy Savage, way. But this is basically top tier. They're going to be in finals. They're going to be the best of the best. They're all but near guaranteed to be there unless something major happens. Now, before anyone screams, what about dice rolls up? I know, but this is all about on paper. What would it be like if they were playing without some bull crap shenanigans? Now, above average is basically, they're not the cream of the crop, but they're still powerful, they're still good, and could do a lot. Balance, basically middle ground. They're neither good nor bad. They're balanced, they could still win things, they still could lose them if things go one step wrong. Below average is basically means that they are, for this format, they're a little bit underpowered for this format, but might be powerful in other formats. Joke, basically, no good. This is not for them. Even if they have such great abilities and stats, it's still not good because of the format. And speaking of format, let's talk about the different formats we'll be talking about. Now, this will span over a few videos. We have quickfire leagues, YouTuber league style, monster season, consecutive season with draft, and finally, sevens. Now, I'm not going to do tournament for one reason. Because the tournament scene keeps changing and the way they've done tournament scene, it's very hard to pretty much engage what's good or not because of the way it's gone. And with the way they do this whole format where it's like, well, to be honest, it's not very good because it goes like, oh, how many players have played this race? And they tend to knock them down and rank it. So it's like, nah, not going to go with that crud. So we're just going to go with this format here. So now that we've covered the bases, let's start with the first one. Quickfire League. What is Quickfire League, you may ask? Basically, 4 to 5 matches, no playoffs, no finals, just 4 to 5 matches, done, dusted, a round robin. That's it. Just 4 to 5 matches, done, dusted. That's it. Anyhow, let's get on with the first team, and this is the first team that had the first rework, which is the Amazons. Now, the Amazons, in my last video, they were above average. Now, unfortunately, Amazons did get a massive rework, but some good, some not. First off, they have no blodge pieces. That's the biggest factor now. They have no blodge pieces. They have dodge, but they don't have blodge. So they have to sacrifice a few points to get the blodge pieces. However, the fact they have a strength 4 Behemoth who could be a great ball carrier, have defensive, and then you've got the other one who's got hit and run and all that. They do have some unique pieces, but the loss of blodge is a massive thing. Plus, that their armor is not great either. So, they will be balanced. Yes. In this format, yes, they're still going to be good, but the loss of the blodge pieces is a massive blow. It's a massive blow for them. It makes them more usable now, because a lot of people did cry foul that some of their pieces were too powerful for their own good, and well, they're now weakened. Now, I'll be honest, guys, in the Quickfire League, you're not going to see many skills unless from the ball handlers and the passers. Mainly they're going to do that. But anyhow, let's move on to the Black Orcs. Now, the Black Orcs, unique situation. Their pieces are brilliant, the Black Orcs themselves, because they've got the brawl ability, which allows them to reroll a block. So that is not a bad skill to have, and the goblins are fixed skills, so they're hard to get rid of. But they have no passing ability, and they are relying on the goblins not to get absolutely mangled, but also to avoid getting killed in the process. Balance. Without a pass ability, at 9 to 10, you're going to take the 6 Black Orcs and the goblins to make up the numbers. Yeah, they're balanced. Chaos Dwarves. Above average. I mean, come on, guys. You've got the 6 Chaos Dwarves who are just going to just boss the line. You've got the Bull Centaurs who are just going to run ragged around you because they've got that much speed. And you could, if you give them the ball, they're just going to run like hell. And you got the Hobgoblins who just do their own thing. And also, I know a lot of people might not like that, but that's the thing about them. They are a above average team in this format because the fact they've got a stern defense and a very stern line makes them very hard to deal with. Chaos Renegades. Now, I have played Chaos Renegades in recent months due to playing Blood Bowl 3. And the fact that you could have 3 big guys is terrifying. But it's the rest of the squad. Because the 3 big guys are going to come to practically 500, half your team value. And you're going to take a Dark Elf to be the ball handler, and the rest is just going to be Lyman Chaff. So I'm going to say, I'll be honest with you guys, balance. It's because the Lyman around him, the Chaff is not that strong. And as soon as you take out the Elf, that's it. That team will struggle with speed, ball handling. And plus that, guys, the big guys are not as strong as you think. As soon as they bonehead or, really stupid kicks in, it is going to slow them down. I mean, don't get me wrong. Having like a troll, an ogre, and a minotaur on the field, it's just absolutely terrifying to deal with. I mean, come on. What would you do against all that? You would just go in. You'd be just absolutely bricking it. I mean, as I've got my book here, which I'm looking at, I mean, you can have only 3, yes, but let's be honest, guys. I mean, yeah, they've got the human rogue linemen. I've got like 3 agility, so they're still decent, but they've got no skills, so they're going to be in trouble. And plus, animosity could be a bit of a problem. I mean, you're going to take the troll, the ogre, and the minotaur, and then you're going to take, the Dark Elf. Yeah, he's 75, but he is worth his points because he's of ball handling, and he can have mutations as well. But we'll leave that to another date. The rest of the stuff is chaff. They're good to hold up, and they could do well in a brawl, but I'm afraid it's not the greatest. So they are a balance. Chaos. What more do I need to say? It's chaos. You're either going to go with a full Chaos Warrior line with lots of Beastmen, or all Beastmen and a Minotaur, or 2 Chaos Warriors and a Minotaur. They're always a good team. The Beastmen, any one of those Beastmen can become ball handlers, as well as the Chaos Warriors, and the Minotaur is just going to rip things apart. But the problem is the Chaos. Unfortunately, there is the big problem. Their ball handling skills is questionable. They're not the fastest. They're a bit average. So, they're balanced. Dark Elves. What more do I need to say? Cream of the crop. They can pick up a ball easy. They can brawl with their blitzers. They can pass the ball easy with just a handoff. I mean, everybody says, oh, they got nerfed because they passed thing nerf. Nah, they didn't. All it just did was just say, oh, you can't use agility and you can't get bonuses. Yeah, but they're still powerful. They can just easily get skills just to remove that. And the fact that the elves can do it quickly, that's a problem. And in this Fire League, I mean, it is depending on what you're facing in that league, but 9 out of 10, you see an elf, you're going to have problems dealing with them to keep them pinned. And most smart elf players will avoid conflict as much as possible, or pick fights. They're hard to pin down. Hate the buggers, but what can you do? Dwarfs. Above average. Yes, they're slower than their Chaos Dwarfs counterparts, but they're sturdy as hell. I mean, you're not going to bully them off a line easy, unless you are strength 4. You're not going to crack their armor easy because they're particularly hard. The Slayers can easily do some serious damage, as well as the Blitzers. The Throwers are decent. Not Throwers, sorry, the Runners. All in all, the Dwarves are a good team still. Hard to shift, hard to deal with. Yes, they're slow, but 9 out of 10, you don't really care because if you get the ball and go into a tank formation, you're just not going to be moved. You're just going to run forward and just absolutely go right. Who's willing to die first? Anyone? Point proven. Alright, here's the next one. Goblins. Below average. Now, some people might think, why are they not balance or joke? Well, it's quite simple actually. Survivability. That's the only reason for the goblins. And plus, all their weapons go after the first drive. So, the chainsaw, the ball and chain, the bombardier, even the hooligan has problems. But if you're smart about it and try and injure as many as you can before the weapons go, you'll survive. But it's like you are a dodgy team. As long as you don't face dwarves, any of the dwarves or any of the teams with lots of block. I'm looking at you, Norse. Or another team that has ridiculous speed. I mean, they can catch up with teams with ridiculous speed, but they do their mortality rate is an issue. And looks like they do have the one-turn touchdown, but that is a hit and miss proposition. Halflings, same again. Although they don't have weapons like the goblins, but they do have positions like throwers and all that, so they do have passing ability. They do have the one-turn throw. I mean, also the fact as well, I forgot about the goblins as well, they both have two big guys, like 2 trolls and 2 treemen. I mean, usually 2 treemen just on the field, just bashing your front line to pieces until they either go root or something. They're just going to rip your line to pieces. And that's a very scary proposition. But yet again, their mortality, they're a little bit slow, and the fact is that they don't have a good survivability rate. High Elves. Cream of the crop. Come on, guys. We all knew that was coming because same as the Dark Elves. I mean, like the Dark Elves and right, all elf teams. As long as they have the what I like to call the star 5, they're going to be all right. That's their positional. Throwers, blitzers, and the catchers. As long as they have them, they're just going to be fine. And the rest of the linemen are just chaff. They'll just use them as chaff. They're just being loaned to say, look, yeah, you're in the front line. Godspeed, you're going to die horribly. Yeah. That is what they're there for. To die. As long as they have those players that can do the rest of the work, they're fine. And they're hard to deal with. Humans. Above average. Now, a lot of people say, well, hang on, shouldn't it be balanced? No. Humans in this format, in this version, are good. The throwers are magnificent because they got 2+ throw. The catchers are hard to pin down. The blitzers are what they do best when you can get 4 of the buckets and just run riot. The linemen are cheap, and you've got also the ogre. They're a very good Jack of all trades team, but they're strong enough to hold their own and win a lot of things. So they're above average. Imperial nobility. Balance. Now, I know you're thinking, wait. You class humans as better than them. Hear me out. It's the peasants. Now, the Fend is absolutely annoying to deal with because they're only armored 7. They could be easily taken out. Not only that, you don't have the blitzers you normally would have. You've got a thrower, you've got the bodyguards and the blockers. Now, the bodyguards and blockers can be easily nullified. Just have someone on them and they just can't go anywhere. That's all you need. Nullify someone with a ability to dodge or block and they're just stuck there. The ogre's good as well, but the ogre is like, he's just one piece and putting a big guy against him is it right. We're just going to lock horns for the rest of the day. Now, I have faced nobilities before, and I'll tell you right now, they are a nightmare to deal with. But because of the fact this is a 4 to 5 game ratio, they're not going to get the skills they need to make them a terrifying threat. But that doesn't mean that they're not going to be powerful later. But we'll wait on further videos. Khemri. Now, I'm going to be able to Khemri. The Tomb Guard are still ridiculously powerful. 4 of them is horrifying to deal with. But the rest of the team isn't. The skeletons, yes, they've got thick skull, but they can be easily broken and stunned. The Blitz Raw is your main blitz piece, could be easy to deal with, and your main ball handler is the Throw Raw. And in this format, where speed and survivability will come into play, and they're not likely to get any skill sets anytime soon. I mean, it'll probably take them, 2, maybe 3 games to get a skill? Joke. Sorry, Khemri players, but you are this is a joke team. In this format only, but in future formats, a different story. I mean, don't get me wrong, they're still a good team. It's just that any smart player will just throw chaff at the front line just to take the hits and have their best players take out the rest. That's all they'll do. Khorne, the newest kid on the block. Where did they rank up? Cream of the crop? Above average? Balance? Below average? Joke. Below average. Now, before you lot scream to the heavens at me and say they're this and that, let me explain. Remember, this is this format. The problem is Frenzy. Now, their normal Gribblies are not going to be doing any much blocking unless they're in 2-on-1 situations. And the plus fact, you could be easily Frenzy trapped. So, yeah, that's a problem. Plus that, without block, you're not going to be well used. The corner goals, they're rarely going to blitz. They're just going to be ball handling and just running down the field going, yeah, we're going to just run down the field with this ball. The only players that's going to be blocking will be the corner blood splatters. Now, don't get me wrong, Strength 4 with Frenzy is absolutely horrifying to deal with, but there's only 4 of them. And a smart player will try and get away from them. Go, all right. They'll either stay down, that means, okay, you can't punch me, you have to go away and blitz someone and waste a blitz. Or you just stay there. So, yeah. It can be countered. I mean, even the big guy himself is a horrifying prospect, but he's the same problem. Without a team to keep him out of frenzy traps, I mean, he can survive frenzy trap, but because of his loner ability, could be a detriment. So, yeah. They're below average in this format, but in future formats which we'll cover, different story. Lizardmen, above average. Now, I know some people are saying, well, the Black Orcs are just a better version of the Lizardmen, and you'll be right. But the Lizardmen have 2 advantages. 1, they have a pass in their ranks, the Chameleon Skink. 2, their skinks can go further. And the Lizardmen themselves, just like the Black Orcs, yeah, they don't have brawl. Don't need it. 6 of them alone is just going to flood the front line, says, right, get past me, you gets. And you go, well, no, I think that's be a hard job. And the skinks, yes, they're vulnerable, but when a skink gets moving, if you get a skink further up the field, say a quarter of the field of the opponent's half, and then just have a Chameleon Skink run up, pass on the ball, and he's gone. He's out of here. And plus the fact, their defense, I mean, the Sorai will just sit there and just go, right, come at me, bro. And that's just hard to deal with. So Lizardmen, above average. Necromantic, balance. Now, let's be clear about the Necromantic. Their zombies are not that great. They're great chaff, cheap labor, but that's all they are. They're good at holding lines. The Flesh Golem is just a guy in the line who's just going to do his line work. The Ghost, however, he is a horrifying monster to deal with. I mean, yes, he can't take the ball, but you don't need to. He's there to break up plays, cause mayhem, and his foul appearance makes him hard to hit. So he'll be in the thick of battle trying to set things off. As for the Ghoul and Werewolf, I wouldn't bother with the Ghoul, stick with the Werewolf, because Werewolf is movement 8, he has claws, and he can quickly skill up very easy. I mean, yes, he costs a bit more than a Ghoul, but he's less likely to die than a Ghoul, because Ghouls are weak armored, while Werewolves are hard to kill. And as soon as you get the 2 skills you need for this Werewolf, he's just a monstrosity, but we'll leave that to another future video. But all in all, they do have great players, but it's just rest of the team is slow. Just the Werewolves the fastest, the rest are slow. So it's like, yeah. Norse. Now, this is another team that had a rework. In fact, the most extensive rework I've ever seen. But oh boy, this is a team you should fear. Which is why they're going above average. Now, you might be shocked thinking, wait, above average? Better than an Amazon? Hear me out. To start with, they've got the Norse Berserkers. A devastating piece. Block, frenzy, and jump up. He's going to do a lot of play work. You've got the Ulfrans. They do their job. You've got the... Now, the Beer Boar, you're only going to use him one game, probably. You're going to probably just like build a team of 10, have him in, and have the money to try and buy a apothecary. And that's it. Rest of the time, you'll probably be there for like, one, maybe 2 matches. You get rid of him for another lineman, and that's it. Now, don't get me wrong, the Beer Boar has a unique ability, which is if anyone's near him, he can revive, like, stun players or revive players, which is a good thing. But 9 out of 10, he's not going to be doing much. He might assist the people, but that's it. But the player who dominates the field is the Valkyrie. My God. I mean, I've ran into a few Norse players with Valkyries, and Valkyries are nasty pieces to deal with. I mean, they've got Pass, Dauntless, Strip Ball. I mean, this thing is horrifying. I mean, you could use that thing as a setup, a runner, or a linebacker. That's how versatile that piece is. It's one of the pieces I would say is on the top kill list. You see that piece, you're going to deal with it quickly before that thing starts running amok. And when we talk about further leagues, how powerful this piece can be, oh my word, we will be talking. I mean, yes, her pass is only 3, but that's a moot point considering what she can do. So, for that reason alone, above average. Nurgle. Joke. Look, I'm sorry to say this, Nurgle fans, but hear me out. You're slow. You're not doable like the dwarves because your rotters can easily be picked off. Now, don't get me wrong, the Pestigors are still brilliant as well as the linemen, but the linemen can't pick up a ball very well. Your Pestigors are your main source of linemen, source of ball handling, and any smart player will go right. Just have some chaps to deal with the 2 linemen and just try and pick off the rotters, because attrition is going to be your biggest weakness. Attrition. I mean, I'm not saying you're a bad team. It just takes you a longer time to skill up to the point where you're absolutely horrifying. But like I said, in this format, which is only 4 games, you're not going to get the skills you want, and you're more likely going to be in like mainly draws or losses because of your speed. Ogres. Below average. Now, before anyone says you get a lot of ogres. Why are they below average? Well, it's the Snotlings. Now, the benefit of the Snotlings is they have a thing called cheap linemen, which means that they don't contribute to team value. So the ogres can become like roughly 700,000 rating, and you could literally buy a star player who would be a ball handler. I mean, you've got 2 ways of punting these buggers with a kicker and a throw-in, the Snotlings down the line, but the problem with the Snotlings' mortality rate, it's an issue, and also the fact Bonehead could be a massive issue. So, yeah, ogres are good, but the Bonehead issue and the Snotling issue is a problem. I mean, you could use the Snotling trick where say, right, try and bring one Snotling in, but to be honest, yeah, they're not the greatest, but they are still decent. It's just they rely heavy on luck. Orcs. Balance. What stops them going above average? Animosity. That's all it is. I mean, you got the big into just black orcs, but that's it. They're just black orcs, just a new version. And the animosity is a problem. And you can still make the same team you would normally do. Like 4 biggins, 4 blitzers, a thrower, and 2 linemen. That's it. Still a strong team, but the animosity can be an issue. And as well, they're not fast, but they are sturdy. Average. Oh, well, the Lions. Come on, guys. We know why. Your dwarves are not that great. The humans have animosity towards everyone. The treatment is the only big guy you're going to take, but he costs a bit. And would you really want a halfling for an attempted one-ton touchdown, which could backfire? And the rest of the team is just, it's not that up to par. I'll be honest, it's not a great team. I mean, don't get me wrong, in other leagues they're a bit better, but in this format, nah. You heard the phrase, too many cooks spoil the broth? Well, that's the case for these guys. Pro Elves. Again, like the High Elves and the Dark Elves, could do the same thing. The difference is, though, they're cheaper. Yes, their armor's not great, but they're cheaper. I mean, they can replace their numbers quicker. And that's the fact, all you need is just the thrower, catcher, 2 blitzers, and you're laughing. The rest of the team is just trash, like, just to hold things up. And that's it. What more do you say? That's pretty much the Bells in a nutshell for this guy. Skaven. Balance. Now, before anyone screams, what about the gutter runners? Well, I'm going to get to that. The gutter runners will carry this team. But the linemen, cheap as they are just chaff. They're just there to die. And then you have the blitzers will do their own thing, but there's only 2 of them. You got the thrower who's got a decent throw, but him too is not what I would call the biggest, like, dog in the yard. And then we have the Rat Ogre. By far, and I hate to say this, is the worst big guy piece in the game. The worst. Why is he the worst? It is on Channel Fury. It's his Savage Fury. You see, what Savage Fury does is, if he fails, he has to clock someone to be able to do his actions. If he doesn't clock someone, he loses all his spaces. So that means you have to babysit him with someone to get killed. And that's the thing. When he whacks someone, there's a chance he could kill himself or kill his partner. And you don't want that in a Skaven team. And I've also seen a lot of people don't use the Rat Ogre. They tend to avoid him. Or they use him as a gargoyle piece, which is like, if you don't know what a gargoyle piece is there for his intimidation and presence. That's it. He'll rarely fight. He'll rarely do much. He's just there just to say, right, I've got something big on the line. What are you going to do about it? And that's the thing about him. He is a pretty much a ticking time bomb. He's one of those guys that I wouldn't take unless I need a big guy. Or I've got a lot of spare bodies. Snotlings. Below average. Now, I know some people say, why is it not a joke? Well, here's why. The amount of star players these buggers can get is ludicrous. I mean, let's be clear. If you take 2 pump wagons, 2 trolls, and one of the special positionals, rest Snotlings, and say 3 or 4 rerolls, you're still going to be under 500. That is insane. And then you can buy star players like 19. You're going to buy Ripper, a ball handler, a blitzer, and a crap ton of bribes so you can keep your pump wagons in. That's what makes these guys annoying to deal with. But we face the same age-old problem. The Snotlings are not as strong as you think. Snotlings, roll 9 out of 10, get hurt, or easily butchered. So, yeah. In that regard, Starling's mortality rate is a big issue. So, yeah. Snotling mortality rate is a problem. Undead. Balanced. Now, the Undead are a very balanced team, let's be honest. I mean, you got cheap linemen and skellies, or the sturdiness of the zombies. You got rights, and you've also got the mummies and the ghouls. Now, the ghouls are fragile, but they're quick, and you can do dodge and work with them. You got the rights who can also ball handle and set things up. And finally, you've got like the rest of the team. They're slow, but they are sturdy. But unfortunately, their slowness is their biggest issue. So, yeah. But other than that, they are a good balanced team. Underworld. Now, Underworld in recent tournaments have been absolute monsters. Who would have thought just making 3 changes to this team could turn them into absolute, like, madmen? And that's why they go above average. You've got the Gutter Runner who's going to do the work. You've got the Blitzers, the Rat Ogre. I mean, this is one time you could use the Rat Ogre because you could get Snotlings. So you can put a Snotling next to Rat Ogre. If Rat Ogre has one of these hissy fits, he goes bang, hits the little Snotling, which Snotling has a chance to just get out the damn way. So, yeah. And plus the fact, you could use this trick, which I've used once, where you would have a lot of you would have one Gutter Runner, one Thrower, one Blitzer, maybe 2 Clan Rats, a couple of Goblins, Troll, and the rest Snotlings, and then you just go, right, I put 1 Snotling out on the field. Oh, I can bring in another 2 more. Or even 3 if I'm feeling a bit lucky. So, yeah. They are nightmares to deal with. And, yes, the Snotlings' mortality rate is horrendous. The Goblins have a little more better survivability, but this is a team that's absolutely nightmares to deal with. And when we get to further lists, these guys get even worse. Vampires. Now, Vampires have been the recent team that had recent, rework. And oh my god. From being potential, below average, sometimes jokes, above average. And I know what you're thinking. Wait, they're above average? Do you know how terrifying these guys are? Let me explain. First up, the Thralls. 40k. Cheap. They're there to do what they do. Blood banks. I mean, yes, you're going to have the same problem where you're going to have 1 or 2 vampires, but that's all you're going to need with these guys. Because let's start off with the Vampire Thrower. My god, that is a horrifying piece. Movement 6, Strength 4, 2+ Agility, Armor 9, Pass, Hypnotic Gaze. That's a nightmare. Then you got the Runner. Yes, the Runner is weaker than their brethren, but Movement 8, Agility 2+. I mean, yeah, Armor and Strength is weaker, but you don't really care about it. You're just going to move that Vampire piece up 2 pieces and just go right. As soon as they reach, say, the 4th square up, boom, they're gone. You're not going to catch them. They're horrifying to deal with. Then you got the Blitzers. Yes, their Bloodlust is a little bit harder to go off, but as soon as that thing is motoring, it's an absolute beast of a piece. And also the Vampires have a big guy, a Voltgeist, and that thing is just horrifying. I mean, Claw and Frenzy. Yes, its Bloodlust is 3+, but that's horrifying. They have a big guy. But not only that, the change of Bloodlust changes this team. You see, Bloodlust was a detriment. Now, it's horrifying. Because now Bloodlust, they don't leave the pitch. They fail. If they don't feed, yes, they lose the ball on the tackle zones, but they go apeshit. But they don't leave the field. They're still there. That's what makes them so powerful. And they are so horrifying to deal with. I have no doubt that in the future, they're going to be one of the teams to watch out for. Yes, the Thralls is their big weakness. But these guys, in their new form, are above average. They're not cream of the crop level, but they are horrifying to deal with. And I could see a lot of people taking these guys in the future. Last but not least, the Wood Elves. Above average. I know you're thinking, why are they not cream of the crop? Hear me out. Yes, their catcher is horrifying to deal with. You've got the wood. You've got our old friends, one of the best pieces, the War Dancer. You've got a Thrower who's going to do what it does best, be a pain in the ass. But the Wood Elves do suffer from 3 problems. 1, expensive to replace. 2, you're only allowed, you're going to Treeman, but you're either going to take the Treeman, or the Catcher, or the War Dancer, or the Thrower. You can't have them all because they are expensive. I mean, the War Dancers went up to 125,000. So you're going to have to take either 2 War Dancers and a thrower, or you take 1 War Dancer, 1 catcher, 1 thrower, but that means you lose your fighting power. You can take a 3-man, 2 catchers and a thrower, which will give you got a lot of pass ability, but you don't have defensive capabilities. So the problem with the Wood Elves is, in this format, yes, they're fast as hell, but they don't have much in defense. And as soon as they start losing pieces, the attrition is going to kill them. And that's it for the quick fire version of this segment. What do you think? Do you agree or do you not? Who do you think should be where they are? Leave a comment in the comment section. Remember, all this is all about my opinion, who I think, because of what I've seen and what I've experienced. So, what do you think? Do you agree with this? Do you not agree? Leave a comment in the comment section below, and I'll see you in the next video, where I'll be talking about the YouTuber Style League. Anyhow, I'll catch you later.